Hello there, how you doing? Trust you're okay. Thank you for joining me today in this class, and I know there's going to be an amazing time with you. I really want to say a big welcome to you. Today we are going to be looking at something that makes music real, something that makes music concrete. Without this, we can't really read, sing, or play music. Yes, that's what I said, without it. So, we are going to be seeing what this particular thing is that makes music authentic. And do you know what? We are going to be looking at musical notes and their values. In today's lesson, we're going to see what a note is defined as. We're going to be looking at the types of notes, look at the value, duration, and we'll see how it is connected and represented in music. All right, so I'll need you to sit calm as we learn all the way. Once again, welcome. A note is a symbol denoting a musical sound. When you say denoting, something that represents. So a note is a symbol representing what? A musical sound. A note represents the pitch of a particular sound. Yes, a note, it represents what? The pitch of a particular sound. Let's begin with the duration of note value. That's what we'll be looking at now. Okay? Here are five whole values. How many? Five whole values. We have about 8, 9, 10 notes, but these are the common notes. When we say common, the frequent, the notes we use mostly in music. In all musical scores, you see most notes, but these ones are the frequent notes. We have the semibreve, minim, crotchet, quaver, and semi-quaver. Okay, we have it in British name and also in American. So we have the symbol, American, then the British, they are the ones in the open close brackets. Then we have the beats. All right, so we have the first one there. We have it as whole note, which in British is called semibreve, and this one has 4 counts. We have the minim, is half note, is 2 counts. We have the quarter note, which is also called crotchet. It has 1 count or 1 beat. Then we have the eighth note, is also called quaver. It has half beat. Then we have the last and the fifth one there as the 16th note in American, and in British is called the semi-quaver. This is 1/4 what? Beat. All right, so these are the 5 we're going to be looking at. What is a semibreve? The semibreve is an oval shape. Some people say is a circle, but I call it an oval shape, like the shape of an egg. So you can see there. 2 minim makes 1 semibreve. So if you look below, you see that we are already having a minim note. It makes what? 1 semibreve. And that minim is just a note head and a stem. Why does it make it 2? Because a minim is 2 counts. So when you put 2 minims together, 2 plus 2, it gives you what? 4. And 4 is what? A semibreve. Now looking at a minim, remember we said a minim is 2 counts. The minim is what? 2 counts. Now 2 of the one below, that is a black head and a stem, we give you 1 note head and a stem, meaning the one below is called a crotchet or a quarter note. So 2 of the crotchet or quarter will give you 1 minim, but to get 1 semibreve you have to call 4 quarter notes, because a quarter or a crotchet note is 1 beat. So that's how it goes on until we get to all the notes. A minim is half a semibreve. Remember, a semibreve is what? 4 counts, and a minim is what? 2 counts. So if you want to say 2, you say double crotchet. Double a crotchet. So you double a crotchet. 1 crotchet, we give you 2 minim. 2 minims, we give you 1 semibreve. But how many we give you 1 crotchet? You have to have 2 quaver or 8 notes. So it's like half of the previous, half of the previous, half of the previous. That's how it is. So if you have 8, half of 8 is 4. If you have 4, half of 4 is 2. If you have 2, half of 2 is 1. If you have 1, half of 1 is half. And if you have half, half of half is quarter. And if you have quarter, half of quarter is what? 1/8. So that's how it goes on and on. Okay, I want us to look at something here. We have a 4/4 time. Then we have 2 minim and 2 minim. I know you are saying 4, but look at it. We have After two minim, we have one line. After two minim, we have double lines. Okay, how do we count this? That's what they want us to look at now. When you want to count this minim, you count the first one out. One, you silence the second one. So that's why they said one, three, one, three, one, three. So the first count is the one that is on point. You say on beat, you count it one. Then the second one, you don't count it, it's an off note. All right. Now, how do we call this part? These are the parts of a note. We have it as the note head, we have the stem, then we have the flag. You can have two flags, you can have three flags, and as the flag comes, it has its own name. So this is a quaver note. That's why it's having one flag. That's what you also call what? The eighth note. All right. There's what we call the beaming of note. Beaming of notes. You can only beam quaver notes. Why? Because a quaver note has flag. So instead of you to write quaver in two places and you separate them with their flags, you write the two quaver notes. Instead of adding flag on this and flag on this, you beam it together, meaning you join it together. So you can see that two quaver notes will give you what? One beamed note. It's still the same quaver, half and half. Now, let's see how these notes apply specifically to music. We're talking about notes, notes, notes. How do we really use it when we talk about what? Music. We are going to see something now. Can you see this? We are having a staff that is made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces. Then we have 4, 4. We have a treble clef. The first thing we want to look at here is the 4, 4. We call it 4, 4. It's not 4 over 4. We call it 4, 4. It might be 2, 2. It might be 3, 2. It might be 6, 8. So depends. But I'm looking at 4, 4. Let me tell you what these notes they mean. You see the note that is on top, the 4 that is on top. The top number indicates how many regular pulses or beats are in a measure or bar. So the one that is on top will tell you how many counts, how many beats needs to be in a bar. But when we talk about the one that is at the lower part, the lower number tells us the kind of notes. So the top one tells us the number of beats, but the lower one tells us the type, the kind of what notes that should be in a bar. Therefore, if we write 4/4 notes, okay, like on a 4, 4, it has already told us that, oh, that's what the top is telling us. We have given how many counts? 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's telling us it must not be more than 4. You don't need to have 5. You don't need to have less, making 3. It must be 4 counts, 4 beats in a bar. But the one that is below tells you the type of notes that should be in a bar. So when you are having 2, 2, you have most of minim notes. When you're having 4, 4, you can have a crochet, you can have a minim, you can also have a semibreve. All right, so this one is telling us 4, 4. Yes, minim is 2 inside one bar, 2 inside one bar. Now, when we talk about bar, a bar is from one line to the other, and that line is called a bar line. We are not treating bar lines now, but I just want to let you know how we call when we say bar or measure. So I want us to see this other example which we can use to explain it. Can you see this? On top they said is bar line, but below they said is measure. We call it measure, or we call it what? Bar. We call it what? Measure, or we call it what? Bar. The word measure and bar are used interchangeably. We can use it at any point. I can decide to use a bar, I can decide to use a measure. But you see this line separating, you see the lines coming down vertically on this staff. We call the lines bar lines. Then if you look at the end, towards the end of it, you see 2 lines. Those 2 lines are called double bar line. That double bar line means that the music has ended. You cannot put double bar line when you have not finished what you want to write inside the staff. Now, the bar line is used to divide the staff into bars or measure. Don't mistake it. A bar line is set to divide the staff into bars or measure. Remember, we said we can call it bar or measure. So if you look at this particular staff now, I can count the number of measures we have here, or the number of bars. They are 4. From one line to the other, 1 bar. From one line to the other, 1 bar. From one line to the other, 1 bar. So here we have 4. Most times we can have notes inside represented. So even if they are notes, just look at how many bar lines separated them. Then count the spaces. That's how you're going to get it. So a double bar line once again shows that what the music has ended, while a bar line divides the music into different sections of bars and what measures. Okay. Now I explained it here again. You can see this is a double bar line. One line is always thicker than the other. The one that is thicker is the one that is at the extreme, but the first one is not so thick. Once you see this double bar line, always know that the music has what? It has ended. Don't forget we talked about 5 notes. We talked about 5 notes, and we said whole note, which is also what? Semi-breve. We have half note, which is also what? Minim. We have quarter note, which is crochet. We have eighth note, which is quiver. Then the semi quiver is the 16th note. Remember, when you add two of a note, it gives you the top one. Semi-breve is standing on its own. It has 4 counts. Minim, 2 counts. Crochet, 1 count. Quiver, half count. And semi-quiver is what? Quarter count. I thought you would not be able to know it. So 2 quavers, we give you 1 crochet. 2 crochets, we give you 1 minim. 4 crochets, we give you 2 minims. Then, if I ask you now, how many minim can you find in 2 semi-breve? You can tell me 2 minim give you 1, 2 minim give you 1. So 4 minim notes will give you 2 what? Semi-breve. I hope you got that very well. I need you to go through again and gain a lot of what? Understanding. And this is where we shall be concluding our lesson for today. Don't forget, we always go through our quiz, because our quiz helps us to get an understanding of what has been taught. So I'll need you to go through your quiz and get it all done. Then don't forget your assignment. You will have to do it inside your notebook and submit it in class. Is that okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to appreciate you. I love you. Until I come your way again. See you in the next class. Stay great. Stay healthy. Bye.